Hello? It's been a bit hard trying to be productive this week. Because once again I'm failing to wake up. Well, not failing to wake up, failing to get out of bed as early as I would like to. And the reason for that being mostly unrelated to when I'm going to sleep, though I have been going to sleep later than the week prior. The reason being, it's been raining. And with the rain comes white noise, the absence of the sound of people passing by my house, the halt of loud construction noise, and a drop in temperatures that makes my bed oh so comfortable. It's been a while since I've had dreams that I remember when I wake up. I'm sure I'm always dreaming to some degree, but I haven't had any dreams that were interesting enough to tell people about. I did have a very brief dream this morning of playing a modified version of Apex Legends, which is a game I haven't played in a long time, in 2022 and 2021 with the VTuber boom. Me and a few of my friends got very invested in the game, and I had one friend in specific whose sleep schedule was more in line with mine, and we played for hours every night. There was one evening where we went for 32 hours. We were both unemployed at the time, so we could freely commit ourselves to such a ridiculous amount of playing the same game. But it was fun. It really was. The game has become less fun, and it's become overcomplicated, and it suffered the same fate that these hero shooters seem to all suffer. They start running out of ideas for new characters, or start accepting ideas that are well beyond what should be allowed or would have been allowed at the game's conception. With Overwatch, I drew the line at Moira. I think the game was a lot better before she was added. And a lot of people like that character because she's very easy to play. You don't have to aim at anybody, and the quick escape allows for a quick escape, so if you do make mistakes in your positioning, you have an easy out. That makes you hard to track. But there's it's upsetting when they make design choices like they did for Moira's kit. Because Symmetra as a character couldn't aim, right? Well, you didn't have to aim because a gun locked onto people. And as a consequence of it being able to lock onto people, it had a short range, and they lessened the damage of it, and such things, to make it have a trade-off, right? There's give and take. But Moira has a large range, and the damage is strong, and she can heal. There's no real trade-off to her main attack. And then Symmetra had these turrets, and Torbjorn had a turret that you could place down, and other characters had projectiles that you would throw. And the turrets, you didn't... what am I trying to say? There's a risk you have to take when attacking something, right? To attack something you have to have line of sight, or at least temporarily have line of sight. But in the case of turrets, you don't have to have line of sight. Your turret can have line of sight, and you don't have to be anywhere near it for it to do damage on your behalf. The trade-off being that the turrets have low health and their own health pool, and they can't be healed, with the exception of Torbjorn's, because you can hit it with the hammer. So they do low damage, they can't be healed, but they don't require line of sight. They don't require your line of sight to do damage. And they have quite the range. Trade-offs. There's balance. Moira's orb does not require you to have line of sight on anybody for it to do damage. It can hit multiple targets, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I remember it hitting multiple targets. And it cannot be damaged. It cannot be deleted by anything other than the projectile absorbing properties of Diva, her ability. One character. And it goes through shields, which is the primary defense that characters play in and around. None of the turrets can go through shields, so why can this orb go through shields? It's like they weren't thinking when they made the character, and this sort of... One last thing, the last thing in a kit, her teleportation, like her little blip away, it makes her immune to damage, and it's fast. It doesn't have any startup, and it's hard to track because she turns invisible. Tracer has a dash. It's short range, but it has 3 charges. However, it leaves a trail behind and doesn't make you immune to damage. That's the trade-off. Your enemies will still be able to track you if they can still see where you're going. And it's instant, so there's no point in it where you're invisible or immune to damage. Genji's dash, his dash ability, leaves him completely vulnerable. He does damage with it, but he can take damage with it, and he doesn't disappear or become a smear on the screen, and he leaves a trail, so he's perfectly trackable. But Moira's is none of those things. There's no trade-off to using her ability at all. There's just take, no give. It's not designed fairly. And all of these hero shooters seem to suffer this fate, where they just start adding characters like that, who are just these pieces of kit from these other pre-existing characters who are balanced and well thought out, but better with none of their trade-offs. It's a shame. I really did have a lot of fun with that game, circa 2018, 19. Though I did start losing interest around 2019. I've taken to not really playing multiplayer games these days because nobody seemed to crack the code on how to not mess it all up with updates. I don't even want to try Marvel Rivals. I'm so sort of burnt by Overwatch and Apex that I don't think I'm keen to try any game of either genre for a very long time. Anyway, on to less negative things. What less negatives do I have to talk about? Work on the commission. I finished modelling the hair and it looks great. Oh, when did I make the last one? I'm going to check that. Right, okay. Things that have happened since the last video. I got a new chair, finally. It makes its own weird noises, but it's more comfortable and it's less squeaky than the old chair that has a hole in it now. It's like an ergonomic type chair, so it has a lot of levers for adjustment, and I find myself adjusting it all of the time. I had to take the arms off because the arms of desk chairs get in the way of the guitar, so no more arms. Hold on, I'm actually starting to bother me. I'm going to pause. I need to get a drink, so I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it was really starting to bother me. I keep forgetting to get water or juice or whatever when I start recording. Anyway, yeah, new chair, great. Unfortunately, a new ailment has cropped up. I think my finger is getting a little better. It doesn't hurt as much, but now my right arm hurts. Specifically my bicep, that sort of area. And I want to say it was from carrying the chair 2 blocks from the car to the house, but I don't think it was that, and I unfortunately think it is related to how I have to position myself over the acoustic guitar. It sort of presses into my arm in a weird way, and then I have to strum, pulling the tendons that are being pressed on. I think that's what's happening anyway. I don't know for sure. It was feeling better this morning, and then I played guitar for 2 hours, and now it hurts again. So I might have to hold off on playing so much. I will do one song for this video because I learned it today and I want to try playing it on recording. So what else has happened? Not much has happened really. I went to the mall the other day and did a little bit of shopping when I really shouldn't have. My last video was on Wednesday. No, Tuesday night? Tuesday night, I think. Now I have to check. June 11th. Wednesday. It would have been Wednesday night. Yeah. Wednesday night. That's when I last uploaded. Wednesday I got the chair and I worked on the commission for a bit. Thursday was a lot more working on the commission. And I don't think I did much else. I didn't leave the house yesterday, I don't think. No, I absolutely did. I went to the mall. Am I stupid? I was at the mall for 3 hours. Yesterday was also rainy. It's been very rainy, which is great because Tuesday was all smoke and now you can't even smell it in the air. It's raining right now. Though you won't be able to hear it on recording. I think I'll add the rain sounds to this video, though that will certainly crank up the render time by a bit. I finished Do-da-da. Do-da-da-da-da. I still can't pronounce it. Do-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. No, that was 4. Do-da-da-da. There we go. Yeah, that show. I finished it. And the ending was interesting. I don't know, it was just such a fun show to watch with so many characters, with their paths intersecting, and I don't know, it's a hard thing to describe, but if you like anime that's about people, not about some grand quest or about like romancing one specific person, but like about people, then I highly recommend watching it. There are, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah. I think there's only 12 episodes per season though. Having watched it, I've realised it reminds me, though is very dissimilar to, or no, I'm thinking of another show. The show I was thinking about was Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny-Girl Senpai, which, for those who don't know, is about a guy who finds himself interacting with like several girls in and around his town who experience supernatural phenomena that occur sort of as a result of their youthful troubles. Like one person who feels they're living a double life and seems to split into two separate individuals, and another person who's struggling with being in the public eye, so people stop being able to see her physically. And that's like the first girl in the show. You'd think with like a premise and setup like that, the main character goes out to romance each one of them and then either picks one that everybody's like, no, that's not the one, or doesn't pick any of them and it's left up to the viewer to ship whoever. But the characters don't fawn over him like that. They sort of have an admiration for just the way he is. He's a strange person, but he's only romantically interested in one of them from the get-go, and that's well established, and he never intentionally deviates from that. And there's good emotional moments in it. I don't know, I very much like the anime. I also really like the dialogue the characters have. It's very grounded, despite the supernatural setting. Now, the show I've come to realise it's very, very similar to, sort of, is the Monogatari series, which in English makes sense if you know the titles of any of its seasons, like Bake Monogatari or Neko Monogatari. But Monogatari in Japanese just means story, I think. So it's a bit of an odd thing to look up. I don't know what it's like actually called. But if you just look up Monogatari series in English, then you'll find it. And it is about a guy who goes around the town finding different girls having supernatural problems. Like one girl is being attacked by an evil snake spirit, and it's like constricting her spiritually. Some marks are appearing on her skin that look like snake scales. Or another girl who is having trouble because she wished with a monkey's paw. Or one, I think the main girl became weightless or something due to some spirit that's cursing her. The nature of the problems and where they come from is different, but it's still like guy going around helping people solve supernatural problems. and getting a friend out of it in the end. I just hit the cable for the mic. That made a terrible noise. I'm sorry. Anyway, the Monogatari series is one I've watched out of order, and I haven't finished it, and I've restarted it I think 3 times now because I keep getting lost. It does not have an easy watch order, and there are so many side stories and seasons and prequels and sequels that it's hard to know where to start. And honestly, just look up like some watch order online if you're interested, because I cannot tell you how to watch it. It's very interesting how easy it has become to watch anime these days. Like, not so legally, but when I was in elementary school, your options to watch anime online were Crunchyroll, which, believe it or not, at the time let you watch the entirety of any given anime without a subscription, and all the subscription did was get rid of the ads that played before every episode, in the middle of every episode, and at the end of every episode. The ads themselves mostly just being ads for Crunchyroll. You can't do that anymore, unfortunately. You have to pay out the ass for just to watch the most simple of things, and even then, Crunchyroll's not a good platform. But there's websites out there now, like the one I use is hianime.to, and it has autoplay, intro skipping, outro skipping, and the video playback is fast, and it rarely buffers. When I was in middle school, I used a website called Kiss Anime, and the issue I always had with that website was it would just not have some anime, or it wouldn't have the latest episodes, or it would be... it was difficult to use as well. It would buffer a lot, it would lag, you'd have to switch video servers and all this stuff. But when I was in high school, I came across a website called Kawaiifu, and that one was really useful because it had the latest anime and a lot of old anime. And it didn't have autoplay, but it was easy enough to find what you're looking for and go to the next episode and all that. And if you had a good ad blocker, the ads weren't super intrusive. A lot of bad anime websites, even with an ad blocker, pop-ups will open and close, and new tabs will open and close whenever you click. It's pretty rough. But that website went down a few years ago, so HiAnime has been my saving grace. It even has watch lists, and it notifies you when new episodes of shows that are on your list have come out. I hope I don't have any federal agents listening to my videos. Because if my favorite anime website goes down because I blabbered about it in a YouTube video, I'm going to be really mad at myself. Anyway, I feel I am definitely still in some manner of a slump. Not a something presently is depressing me, or something happened, or I'm tired, or it's just a state I've been in for well over a year now, where I feel like I've lost something. I just hit my 2-year anniversary with my current job, and I don't feel good about it. I'm dreading having to go in tomorrow, but like outside of work, I never feel like I have enough time. And I've said this before, that I never feel like I have enough time. But even when I consciously acknowledge that there's 6 hours between like me getting up and me having lunch or dinner or whatever, and I could use those 6 hours to do anything. Even if I took an hour to get ready and an hour to wind down, that's still 4 hours. But I just don't feel like I can use them properly. It's like there's been a whole dampener on my ability to do anything for such a long time, and I don't know how to get it off. I've also come to realize that I haven't really gotten any faster at making models as I do. Like maybe minorly faster, but where I've sped up, I've gotten more thorough in other places. So I make less mistakes now, and I have to retry less, but that means I spend more time doing it correctly. And by the end, I'm taking the same amount of time I was years ago when I was fumbling around in the dark. It just feels silly, right? Like I wanted to get faster, not, well, I don't know. Trade-offs. We've come full circle. I definitely need to get myself into working before work on my commission and my own personal projects, because there is no chance I'm going to make any headway just waiting for the weekend every time. Something I came to realize the other day when I was thinking about this whole thing has sort of devolved into me just talking about the negative aspects of my mental state and my negative thoughts and by this, by that. And at the start of this, it was a lot more engaging, I feel. Like I had things to ask the prospective audience. I had things to ask you. The you who is listening to this right now. But I haven't asked a question like that in quite a few videos, I think. Moreover, I haven't even been trying to steer away from the negative all that much. And I don't know if that... I don't know what that does for anybody, really. Like, nobody likes to be bombarded with negative things. Like, if you went into social media and it was all people complaining about any given issue or thing, then you'd feel pretty bad as you scroll by everybody's posts. So to turn on this video and hear me just complain and complain about my life and my mental state when I could just not and trudge on like everybody else. I don't know. I suppose as my own mental state gets better, because it will get better, I don't see it getting much worse, or if it does, I don't see it as being the end. It can always go up. As my mental state in life gets better, I can relay that through here. So, if you're someone who sort of dislikes how negative I've been as of late, maybe stick around and see if that changes as things around me change. Anyway, I'm going to play that song I wanted to play. Let me just get things set up for that. I've got to go get the guitar. It wasn't that far away. Oh goodness, I need the capo on that. That's not good. I have just a cheap capo I got off Amazon, which has served me well with my electric guitar, but a tad bit of misfortune that comes with a cheap capo is they don't clamp very strong, so with thicker strings, like on my acoustic guitar, you get actually, it's not doing it right now, which is great. I think because I squeezed it on there extra tight, and I've wrapped tape around the bottom so its grip is a little smaller. What happens is it starts loosely pressing down on the strings, like it's not strong enough. It starts sounding like that. Like it's not getting pressed down all the way. And that is my least favourite thing. That buzzing. When it doesn't quite get the string all the way down, it starts buzzing like that. And that's something I have to consciously watch out for. Else it, well, it happens. Anyway. Let's see. Do I remember the chords for this? Interesting chord, actually. What is that? Oh, you know what, that would probably be better. Yeah, I'll go with that. Okay. I have only played this once, if I'm being honest, and that was a few hours ago. Actually, more like 12 hours ago. So I'm not well practiced with this one. Like I'm sleeping, all tied to my dreaming. Future barks like a dog outside. I pretend that I don't hear it. Good days always even. See the wrinkles where my parents are sleeping. Been a while since I've seen them. It kinda woke me up. Every shadow of change, it's good when it's painful. All that is, all that has been, every dagger of grey. All that is, oh that's not it. Go back. Every dagger of grace is a gift, I am grateful. All that is, I say thank you. I say thank you. Billion eyes that are waking, billion hearts that are breaking. Feel the poison in my own blood. Every night try to face it. Every moment try to face it. Every failure try to face it. Feel the poison in my own mind, but another fever breaks. Every shadow of change, when it's good, when it's painful. All that is, all that has been, every dagger of grace is a gift, I am grateful. All that is, I say thank you. Breaking the song here. Can't count on the timing, can't count on arriving. Feel the balance in the soil, in the wind while I'm driving. Time moves like a river, each breath I'm reminded to reach heavy in the siren, till the whistle cries. That song is Thank You, the closing song of the album Persona by Half Alive. Half Alive is a band I like, not to the extent of a lot of the other bands I will play the songs from on these videos. But I came across them when I was in high school because they had a music video that leaned heavy into 70s aesthetics, which I found very interesting. And the music was also very old and interesting, and sort of a sound I hadn't heard before. Each album of theirs has at least 2 very good songs, like in a dozen playlists, good songs. And the lyrics, even if sometimes samey or generic, the vocals of the main guy, whose his name eludes me right now, I can't think of it, are very soulful and have a lot of heart to them. Like, he's not a perfect singer, but he feels what he's singing, right? A lot of the time when these artists that you hear on the radio, these plants, these industry plants, they'll have somebody else have the songs written for them, and because of that, when they sing it, they feel nothing. It's not their song they're singing. They're a voice to put out somebody else's words, and a lot of the time those words aren't emotional or meaningful. They're engineered to be as generic and consumable as possible by as many people. They're supposed to be as vague as they can be, so as many people can relate to them as possible, as shallowly as possible, so they don't feel anything about it, but they relate to it. It's a sickening practice, but it's all too common. So, when pop-sounding artists rise with real emotion in their lyrics, it's very, very, very pleasing. One such artist who has risen to stardom recently, and I hear on the radio all the time, though I was listening to them a bit before they started showing up on the radio, was Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan is, she's a great singer, and her songs are very poppy and very, like, they use common phrases and common themes, but are very much hers and about her and her experiences. Her, like, most popular track right now, I think, is Pink Pony Club, and that song is like about her and her career as it's been. And I love when, like, musicians and artists like that, metaphorically speaking, paint with their own blood. Like, the lyrics are them, the sound, it's them. These emotions you're hearing are theirs. It's a very cool thing. Anyway, I've realized I've hit almost an hour on this video. So I am going to leave it here before I yelp for too long and the rendering takes several hours. I am committed to adding the rain sounds in this one, so it will take a while, but for those dozing off, have a good sleep. For those still awake, go to bed. And for those just getting up, good morning. I hope you have a good day. I myself will go to sleep when this is done. Yeah. Bye-bye.